sponsored by Baked Good. Fact: Baked Good delivers delicious homemade sweet and savory treats to Accra and Tema on Saturdays, Sundays, and Wednesdays. You can pre-order via WhatsApp at 05595305888 or on Instagram via DM at BakedGoodGH.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Wonder League podcast. As always, I'm your host OG. PM SG is here. Happy Easter to all y'all. Guys, how you doing?
Doing okay. Happy Easter for all my Christian brothers, for all my Muslim brothers or people who are not Christian. Enjoy the holidays, free vacation. There's no need to complain.
Yo, it's good.
Hey, no long then, let's get right into it.
No long thing.
No long thing. Alright, we got to start there. We're recording in the middle of Gameweek 30, so obviously I'm guessing you guys heard or at least watched yesterday's game. Mendy concedes 5 to West Brom, and it's only right if I ask, PM, is this an outlier? Should we get worried? No, we just ignore it and keep him and go for those of us who have him.
I think that before we even start, we should tell the users or the listeners what the question of the week is, because I'm all about giving them the money.
Right.
So I guess a good question for this week is, how many goals has Kun Aguero scored for Man City in the Premier League? How many goals has Aguero scored for Man City in the Premier League? For that, I think I need bonus points. But to answer your question...
You know what? You're right.
So it begins.
To answer your question, I did not hear it, but I see it is about Mendy because I was very concerned about the listeners. And I'm guessing you're asking, should we or should we not pick Mendy for Chelsea? Should we be concerned? For a second, I wasn't sure whether you were talking about the Man City Mendy or the Chelsea Mendy. Someone said that Mendy is not actually that great of a goalkeeper. Chelsea just has a very good defense, which, to be honest, is true about almost every goalkeeper in the league.
Right.
No goalkeeper is that so fantastic that, unless you are David De Gea for Manchester United in one of those seasons where he was performing miracles. But on the average, it's usually the defense that does their job. So I guess the real question is, how is the Chelsea defense doing? And to be honest, this one game against West Brom was a one-off. They had a red card. Come on.
Okay.
So I'm not going to sit down and tell you that, Mendy is the best goalkeeper in the league or top 5 or whatever. I'd rather speak more about their defense.
Okay.
And with that being said, their defense had an off night. They had a red card. So let's cut the guys some slack.
Okay. Well, you had it all over there. And I'm sure SG agrees with you.
Yeah, no, this is Thiago Silva. Unfortunate to get a red card, in my opinion, but nothing doing there.
None doing there, right?
None doing.
Okay, great. With that said, SG, who is the best keeper for Game Week 31?
Game Week 31.
Yes, sir.
Best keeper.
Yep.
I'm going to turn right around and say Mendy. Just because Chelsea had it. Let's not forget they were going into this on the back of an unbeaten streak. Thiago Silva was coming back from injury. Their defense was going to get meaner, and they're playing Crystal Palace, who can buy goals. So,
right.
it's a good recipe for a clean sheet for me for that weekend, and they've been solid up to this point. I see them just returning to their old ways. So Mendy for me.
Okay. Yeah, they definitely have been very solid. And PM, do you second that?
The best goalkeeper this week conceding 5 goals. Oof, that's how can you give that after chopping 5 goals? Best goalkeeper, that's a hard thing to do. I'd rather go for just a conservative Allison or the homeboy from Manchester City, Edison. So I can't give it to someone who just dropped 5 goals. Like, what does that say? You had one job.
You had one job, huh? So did his defense.
Everyone has an off day.
Yeah.
And that was all that was.
Last week, that's right. Okay. And speaking of defense and having an off day, moved on to solid defenders. SG, what are your thoughts on Dallas and Target at this point in the season? Are they a must-have, not only for game week 31, but just going forward the rest of the season? However many games we have left.
I'll start with Dallas.
Okay.
Leeds they're rounding the corner right now. They're like 100 meters left. They're still in the finish line. They know they're not going to be first, but they know they're not going to be last. All you have to do is jog there and finish up. And their next couple of fixtures: City, Liverpool, then United. Not a great time to be adding Dallas. If you have him, maybe keep him and stash him on your bench, because after those next couple of fixtures, their running is fairly light. It's nothing. It's not too hard, and maybe they'll have time to rake in some points in. But he's not. I wouldn't put him as a must-have at this point in time.
Okay.
Moving on to Matt Target. Pretty much the same thing. Aston Villa have a terrible running. They're in a similar boat. Like maybe they might be chasing Europe a little bit, and Grealish is coming in, but they have a lot of tricky fixtures in their running. So it's not looking the best based on the running. I don't project a lot of confidence in Matt Target, especially.
Okay.
Dallas, I'm like, yo, if you have him, just put him on your bench for a couple of weeks, get him back to finish the season. But other than that, not too confident in those two.
Okay. So what I'm hearing is none of them are worth, adding to your team at this point. If you don't have them, just keep it that way. If you do, put them on the bench.
Yeah. Dallas, maybe in like 3 or 4 weeks we can revisit the issue, but nah, not right now.
Okay, great. Pep roulette once again. Stones, Cancelo, all benched for game week 30. At this point, do we all just give up trying to figure out, which defender is going to start for City and just?
Well, I guess when you look at the City defenders, who is the most costly one there? And I think the answer to that is Ruben Diaz. And it's the reason is very simple. He's not only the guy who has the most points, he's also the guy who plays the most. I think he's been about the one constant in the Man City team.
Is he?
So if you have the money, I say Ruben Diaz. Otherwise, it's not worth the risks, as one of my accounting economic teachers used to say. It's not worth the risks. Just, Ruben Diaz.
Okay. And for game week 30, SG, give me your starting three at the back. For game week 30. 31.
I have to pick a Chelsea defender, and normally I'd say Chilwell, but it seems like Tuchel has not been too hype on him. He hasn't started a lot of games under Tuchel, so I'll go to Reece James instead. I think has had more playing time actually than Chilwell in the past couple of weeks, and it's a goal, an assist threat. So they're playing Burnley. gotta have a Chelsea defender. I'm going with Reece James.
Okay.
And then other than that, Trent had a pretty good game against Arsenal. Maybe it's something they'll try to pick up. Liverpool try to pick up in this game, especially after what Aston Villa did earlier in the game. Maybe this is a revenge game for them. And I see Trent having maybe another good game. So put Trent on there. And last but not least, we'll add Diaz in there just because for the reasons highlighted by PM. You want a City defender in there, and Diaz has been rock solid and been there. Cancelo, you never know. If we're sure about Cancelo, he'd probably be my number one City defender. But
you're not anymore.
No, not anymore.
Okay.
Yeah, so top three.
Okay. Done. PM, anything to add or take away from that?
Well, I just got confused. I think he said Chelsea was playing Burnley, and I think I have them playing Crystal Palace. But that's neither here nor there, right? I just went a little Arsenal heavy because they are playing the shambles of the league. And I have Tierney, who may or may not be injured. We'll see. Keep an eye on that. I have Gabriel, and then I have I have Keane from Everton because they are playing Brighton. Brighton have this expansive game where yes, they are terrible, but because they play so expansive, they could end up beating a Liverpool. They could end up beating a big team just because of the way they play. So it's kind of hard to call, but I think Everton.
Okay. And what's the remind me your man from Everton you love so much? What's his name? Lucas.
Lucadinha.
Yeah. Surprised you didn't go.
Yes. So I looked at him and I was like, it's kind of pricey. And when you look at who has been giving you the points in the league, isn't really like up there. So it's like, should I really be picking this guy? Okay. So that's really my only rationale for not picking Lucas and picking Keane.
Right. Okay, great. We're about halfway. PM up 1. Let's see if he holds the lead. Moving on to Midfield Maestros. Initially, I've had this there. Jota starts on the bench because last week we spoke about which Liverpool midfielder was the one to have. So then I seen him on the bench. I was like, oh, what's about to happen?
And then,
he comes in, gives us 2 goals, and we know how that went. So, PM.
Wait, what's funny?
Sorry.
What's funny?
Oh, nothing. Just
I thought so.
Moving forward. Is it? I mean, is it going to start? Game week 31? Would he be on the bench again? Should we? Is there any cause for concern or?
No, wait. Is this my question or his question?
Whoever want to take it.
PM go.
Okay, ladies first.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah. So PM go.
PM go.
Okay. So Diogo Jota. If I'm a Liverpool coach, any Liverpool coach who benches Diogo Jota after the performance he had against one of the traditionally big sides in the league, and believe it or not, Arsenal are actually one of the more on-form teams in 2021. It's kind of hard to believe, but before coming into this weekend, from Boxing Day, they were actually second in terms of points collected since Boxing Day. Very hard to believe.
Yeah.
So I definitely picked Jota. I'll start him. And I don't really rate Firmino. Firmino is the icing on the cake player. When your team is playing very well, he's the guy who is going to bring that oomph, But when you are not playing well, the man doesn't score. He doesn't provide that many assists for a striker of a Champions League title, a Premier League title defending side, doesn't score that many goals. So he's very expendable. And I would put Jota in the team over him on any day.
Okay. SG.
Yeah, I mean, whether Jota starts or not, we've seen that he can be a threat. I don't think this is the first time he's come off the bench to have such a performance this season. I'm confident. I'm confident uh, in putting Jota in starting Jota.
Okay.
Yeah, if you don't have him, I think you should grab him. His price is probably only going to go up, and
Yep.
this is a man on form. He's on fire. And yeah, so yeah, I'll have Jota on my team.
Okay.
And Grealish,
Yeah.
I don't know. They say he's been training. He's getting back into the swing of things, but I'll still give him a week or two to see to see how he's doing before getting back. And not to forget, Aston Villa really need him in their run up because they have as we were talking about Matt targets earlier, they have a pretty tough run in to end the season, and so if he's not firing on all cylinders, it's not going to be easy just working his way back onto the team.
Yeah. No, definitely. Okay. And PM coming right back to you. This is your team. Harrison or Rafinha? Who would you rather have? Who's the better player to have right now on your team?
Oh, that's a tough one, but just based on form, it's Harrison. Based on form, ignore everything else, throw it out of the window. They've both been performing really well, but just based on form alone, it's Harrison. And let's also throw in the fact that he is actually about 0.3 monies. I don't even know what the fake currency is. I know it's pounds, but I guess it's millions of pounds, right? So that would be 300,000 pounds. He's actually cheaper by about 300,000 pounds. And that makes a big difference. If you had asked me which player I would have on my team in real life, it would be Rafinha, but fantasy, form, money, price, it's Harrison. It's an easy pick.
Okay. And do you think he's a better combination to have with your man up top? Bamford.
Better combination in terms of
if someone had Bamford on their team, do they need any of these two midfielders? What do you do in addition?
I have always treated fantasy as a game where it doesn't even necessarily have to be complementary. It's not let's create a strike partnership or midfield, right? So it's pick and choose really. And I'd say you can have Harrison without having Bamford, or you can have Bamford without having Harrison. But let's face it, what I'm really saying is have Bamford without Harrison if you had to pick.
Okay. And SG, any thoughts on any of these? Or which one you prefer?
I would actually disagree about Harrison and Rafinha. I mean, I don't think you could go wrong with either, but if you've been watching Leeds lately, Rafinha is more of a guaranteed start, and he's been more consistent in given solid returns, if not spectacular. Harrison has been patchier. And couple that with the fact that he's not Rafinha is a more guaranteed starter.
Yeah.
I think with 300,000 difference, it's worth it. It's worth it in the long run, especially over the end of the season where there'll be going on the likes of Rafinha. You have a couple of decent games in there to really get some points. I think it'll be worth that minute difference. So for me, with Rafinha coming, if I had to pick one for the rest of the season, yeah,
okay.
2 cents.
Okay, that's what's good. And with that in mind, PM, give me your midfield lineup for game week 31.
Sure. I would have Diogo Jota because why not? Throw in a Riyad Mahrez, throw in a Mo Salah, That makes 3. I'm going to throw in Harrison. That makes 4. And for my 5th pick, been really tough. But once again, kind of looking at Arsenal and, what they are doing against Sheffield United is pretty much the worst team in the league. And you have to pick Martin Odegaard.
Okay. So I caught that you said Mo Salah. Does that mean that means you don't have Jota in your team? Or wouldn't?
I have both.
Oh, you have both. Oh, I didn't catch
yes.
that.
Yeah, I have both. These are the most goal-thirsty players in the league right now. Mo Salah is perennially goal-thirsty. No matter the season, hammer time, wet season is thirsty. And Diogo Jota, he doesn't seem thirsty to me, like in terms of where he starts play. Like you can see Jota dropping deep into midfield, sometimes into his own half to get the ball and move it up. But once there's a cross, ain't no man faster running into the box. And a friend of mine just pointed that out to me. I didn't realize that when there's a cross in, ain't no man running faster into the box than Diogo Jota. That's why he gets so many goals.
Right. That's a good point. SG, where you got?
Oh damn. This week I'm going to I'm going to make it an expensive lineup. I like a lot of juicy fixtures, and I'm going all in on them.
Okay.
I'm having Fernandes against Spurs, scores to settle. He's going to. He's the competitive guy he is. I feel like he's going to want to prove a point against Spurs, especially after the humbling at the beginning of the season. And I'll hedge that bet by having Son. I think Son is going to play next game. He's just coming back from injury, and this is a good game to play. And I don't trust that United defense against his trickery and pace. So hedge my bets there and add him. Then I'll throw in KDB against Leeds. This is the type of game where I think he shines, where he has to find pockets of space against a massive tactician like Marcelo Bielsa. This is the type of game you need KDB at his best, and he has been at his best recently. So I'll throw in KDB. And just to soften the blows of these expensive players, I'll go down to Pedro Neto. Their Wolves are playing Fulham, and he's been Wolves' talisman this season. He's been playing phenomenally well. So I'll throw him on there. And then last but not least, let's see. I feel like you could throw in someone like Mason Mount. It's not exactly cheap, but also Chelsea is playing Crystal Palace, and Mount has Tuchel's trust now, and he's been playing he's really good form for Chelsea. So yeah, it's my top 5 for next week.
Okay. I had a question, but I don't quite remember what it was anymore. But wasn't who you mentioned. But moving on to.
I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think at some point you need to break down to the users how you award your points, because when there is no transparency, it owes to a sense of you're just cheating for someone. And to be honest, I don't even know the answer to that.
I feel like you know better than to question authority. Haven't gone up.
Okay. Sorry, Mugabe. Let's continue.
But I got you. At some point, we'll do that. You know what? Next season, before the season starts, we'll go through everything. Break it all down on the list. Oh man. It was funny. PM, since you're going Arsenal heavy there, how do you feel about like I said, is he a good pickup? You said he had a good game week 31.
What? Who said that? When? Why?
I feel like that's what you said.
Which is game week 31? No? Oh, he will have a good game, or he had a good.
No,
what are you saying?
Asking if he would. If he will.
Oh, if he will? Yeah. Oh, it's very, very probable that he will. But here's the problem.
Mm-hmm.
Arsenal strikers are not scoring.
Mm-hmm.
They are not scoring like we are used to them scoring. Usually you have Aubameyang scoring. And
yeah,
you have Lacazette, who comes from Lyon, who was scoring fairly regularly. Like, he wasn't going to compete with Lewandowski or Ronaldo or Messi for European, golden shoe or anything. But you get you a cool 20 goals a season, something like that. I think man is on like 12 or something. Just not good enough.
Just 12.
That's not good enough, man. Yeah, and I'm not even talking about the Premier League. He's on 12 or 13. I'm not even talking about Premier League. I'm talking about across all competitions.
Right.
So he's clearly not on form, and you have to think someone can do better. With that being said, no one is really playing like a team that's you're like, oh yeah, they're definitely going to get you a goal. So if you pick Lacazette, I wouldn't say that's the most terrible choice you have made this week, but I wouldn't make it a habit.
Right. Yeah. Okay, so I'm hearing no.
For this week,
yeah.
Push me up against the wall. Anyway, we'll get to it in the third part.
Okay. All right, sounds good. SJ Flakes have a few of your players you really like, but Watkins or Antonio? Better.
I think I would have to go Antonio versus Leicester. Over Watkins against Liverpool, just because Leicester has a mean defense and it'll be a physical game. West Ham have been playing some really good football, and at the heart of that is Mikel Antonio's strength up front, being a great targets man and pitching in with goals as well. So I like it's a Mikel Antonio game, and Liverpool Villa. I think it's more of a risk. Ollie Watkins had filled his boots last time around when they played Liverpool, but that was what 6 months ago. So many things have happened in that 6 months. Like, it's not the same team. So I'm less comfortable picking Watkins against Liverpool. So yeah.
Okay, but it's part of that because you feel like Liverpool are finally back. Like, was the last game against Arsenal just a sign of them turning things around, or how much we take out of that just with them moving forward? And
I think it's Liverpool regaining some confidence and some surety in their game, and they have a good run of fixtures to round out the season to keep that, what you call it. They're chasing Europe. They want to certify top 4. They don't really have that many tough games left. Arsenal was probably their toughest. Arsenal is one of their toughest games they had left. The other one being against United. So yeah, I think it's a sign. It's a sign, and I think the train is gonna start chugging now, and they're going to finish the season strong, back stronger.
Okay. And PM, coming back to you with your favorite question. Give me your starting forwards for game week 31.
Okay, so apart from Bamford, I guess I have Harry Kane, and it's really about the third guy. The third guy is really, right? Yeah, the third guy is really a question, and I would have gone for a Man City striker, but who is Man City going to start? I want to think it's Jesus, but I don't know. Aguero is on his farewell tour. You don't know. Maybe Pep is feeling sentimental.
He probably is.
Who knows? Maybe. I don't even know. Do they have a Champions League game the week after? Who knows what is going to happen, man?
I think they do this week before. Or maybe I'm mistaken, but yeah.
Yeah, I think they have a Champions League
game. Champions League games are midweek. Yeah.
Right. They have a Champions League game this weekend. They have a Champions League game after Leicester also.
Right.
Sorry, not after Leicester. Sorry, after Leeds also against. That'll be the second leg. And so it's like, who is he going to play? And because of that uncertainty, you know, I have to pick Lacazette, even though I don't want to.
Right back to it.
Even though I don't want to. And here's why I say I don't want to. There is also a very similar issue with Lacazette that there is with Man City and Aguero. Is he going to start? Arteta could very well play Aubameyang up front. I don't know, And so it's like, I want to pick the Arsenal striker. I also want to pick the Man City striker, but the Man City strikers are expensive. So if I pick a Man City striker and I blast, I've made an expensive mistake.
Yep.
Aubameyang is also expensive, but if you look at the sum between Aubameyang and Lacazette versus Jesus and I think Aguero, I think Jesus and Aguero are more costly. I stand to be corrected on that, but I think I'm right. So I guess it makes more sense to take a gamble on the Arsenal side than it does to take a gamble on the Man City side.
Okay. SG.
This week is definitely a tough week to be picking for it. I like the Kane shout though. Kane against United. It's a big game. Kane has been scoring. He's found his scoring touch again after that recent injury. So I like Kane against United. I would to spice it up a little and add some flavors in there. Lacazette, actually, I would have said is also a good shout against basement team. This is a prime. Arsenal have been, apart from this game against Liverpool, they've kind of been handling the teams they should be beaten, and this looks like a good game for Lacazette to score.
Yeah, but then just watch as Aubameyang starts, and it's like,
But yeah, so I think that's also a good shout. But for me to add some differences, I like Danny Ings playing against West Brom. I know West Brom have Sam Allardyce and he likes to toughen up his defense, but it hasn't worked too well. West Brom have been doing decently, but I don't think they've still been conceding. So I like that. And Danny Ings has found his scoring touch. He scored this weekend, and I think
and an assist
he can score. Yeah, I think he can score there too. I like Calvert-Lewin also against Brighton. Brighton is a solid outfit. Ben Mee is I think it's Ben Mee and Lewis Dunk or something like that. Solid defensive unit, but Calvert-Lewin is a strong player, and this again prime for getting in some some nice through balls for him to run on. He's there to finish the move. That's his bread and butter. And I think it'll create enough chances for him there. And then last but not least, I like Iheanacho against West Ham. The City game was a tough game, but Leicester is still a really good team, and I see them doing well and rebounding against a West Ham team that has also been performing well, but it's also liable to concede. So that's my I don't know about best forwards line, but I think those are decent shouts for some solid returns in this coming game week.
Yeah, pretty good option for the listeners to pick from. Great. So at the end of this round, SG up 2, one more round to go. PM always says it makes the comeback greater, so
that's not what I say. I say we all know you're cheating.
We can hear you. Fix your mic, bro.
It makes the comeback sweeter. It only applies in FIFA, where you know that the game is mediated by an unbiased AI. But
the AI is always biased, bro.
Okay.
Okay, Captain. PM.
Mm-hmm.
Talk to me.
Yeah, it's gonna be for too much here. So captain for the week. What do you want? Do you want
top three?
My top three?
Yeah, and then the one you'll be selecting. Yeah.
Top three, I'd have to go for in no particular order for now.
Yeah.
I'm going Harry Kane.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going Fernandes, even though I don't even have him in my team. And I am going Diogo Jota.
Okay.
And my captain is Diogo Jota. That's my number one.
Wow. Interesting. Okay. SJ.
Well, this week I really like the look of KDB against Leeds. Leeds is a prime for picking off, and the player of his talents should do well against Leeds. So I like KDB. I like Salah coming into an Aston Villa game, coming off a return to scoring for him too. So I'll put Salah in there. And last but not least, I think it's a tough one, but Fernandes. Again, I like the revenge storyline written in here, and I think you take advantage of it.
What's the revenge storyline?
United being humbled by Spurs at the beginning of the season.
Oh, were you? I don't even remember that.
Was who? Who's
what was that?
You said, were you? Like I was there.
Oh, my bad. Sorry, I thought you were a United fan. I guess you are more of a bandwagon fan. Anyway, sorry, let's keep going.
Whatever that's supposed to mean. Okay. And yeah, so that's my lineup. And I think Salah for me is the overall captain.
Okay. You're both going Liverpool players. You say Salah, he says Diego Jota.
I don't think you can go wrong with either.
Right. But I have to ask though, SG as our resident United fan, are you ever able to pick player you might believe it's best option as a captain but facing your team? So let's say Kane against United.
Oh yeah. It's easy to keep your passions separate. I mean, fantasy is all business.
Right.
If I know Kane is if I feel like Kane is going to do well, and I put him in my starting forwards, my best forwards lineup.
Yeah,
so yeah, I have faith in that, but it's very easy to separate those. It's a must.
It's a must.
You must do that. You must do that.
You must do that. Yeah, I think many feel they are jinxing their team.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, the man is not a real United fan. He's just on the bandwagon. So this all just makes sense.
All right. See, he has no comeback for you, no comments for you.
Oh, I mean, I don't think you have to respond to every Tim Potts theory that your people bring up. Sometimes silence is just the best answer.
That's what people who know that you are telling the truth usually say. But I feel you then. Do you?
Right.
Okay.
So that brings us to the end of this round, and I guess all of it. SG with the win by 1. Shout out to Gonzaga. We'll be right back, guys.
Hi, welcome back, guys, to the draw for the $10 prize. And the other two guys have left. It's just me, the People's Champ, PM. I'll get right to it because I know you guys just want to know who won. So let's go. Question for the previous episode was, who has the most clean sheets in Premier League history? And the answer to that would have been former Chelsea legend Petr Cech, former Arsenal goalkeeper Petr Cech. So if you answered that, you had a chance to win $10. And before I announce the winner, I just want to remind you guys, subscribe on YouTube, subscribe on Google Podcasts, subscribe on Apple Podcasts. We are even on Spotify Podcasts now, and Spotify is available in almost any region in Africa. Subscribe anywhere, even space, subscribe. Alright, so let's get right to it. The winner, the $10 giveaway is Are you guys ready for me to slaughter a name? Onigboji. Onigboji, congratulations. Do contact us on Instagram. We will get you your money. And I hope you enjoy it. And tell your friends, tell your family, tell everyone about us. Spread the news, spread the good news. All right. So that's pretty much it for this week's episode. The others aren't really here to say goodbye because they had to leave. I'm just here signing off on behalf of the Wonder League team. Have a great weekend, guys.